Welcome to the Lowcountry Report. I'm Allie McNair. Coming up, it's official. Tanger 1 is open, but that is just one piece of a very big puzzle. Did you know that Tanger Factory Outlet Centers has 33 outlet shopping centers in 22 states? We'll find out more from President and CEO Steve Tanger, who was in the area. And later, when it comes to living in a community, there's nothing more important than good communication. We'll learn how it's done at Sun City Hilton Head. But first, these headlines. As just mentioned, the Tanger Hilton Head Center 1 reopened Thursday morning. On hand for the ceremony, Governor Nikki Haley and Stephen Tanger, President and CEO of Tanger Factory Outlet Centers. Dancing with the Stars fans will recognize Derek Ho, who was there as part of the day's festivities. In a few minutes, we'll talk with Steve Tanger about what it takes to make Tanger Factory Outlet Centers successful. For the reopening of Tanger 1, the president and CEO of Tanger Factory Outlet Stores came to the Hilton Head area. He is Steve Tanger, and I had a chance to speak with him on Thursday morning. Here's what he had to say. Do it now, make it happen, have fun. That's the motto of Tanger Factory Outlets.
That's right.
Who came up with that?
My father, Stanley Tanger, came up with that probably 30 years ago. And that's the credo that our employees have embraced, we've embraced, and it's led to our success.
Let's talk about the history of Tanger Factory Outlets. Started off, you told me, with your grandfather and a shirt factory, and from there things changed, and now today Tanger Factory Outlets. Give us some of that background.
My grandfather, Mo Tanger, bought a factory in Wallingford, Connecticut that made shirts, and in 1919, and shortly after that, in 1920, he opened up one of the first employee store, which became one of the first outlet stores in the country. My father joined him in 1946 after World War II, and I joined my father and my grandfather in 1970. So I had a unique opportunity to work with my father and my grandfather for 10 years.
That's wonderful. Now, your dad sold the shirt company and looked around and said, hey, there are certain types of businesses that cluster, like fast food restaurants and the like. He came up with this idea. How did that kind of come to fruition?
Well, the innovation that my father came up with was to copy the cluster concept of retailing, where fast foods cluster, car dealers cluster, etc. And we called a couple of our friends who ran manufacturing companies, and the idea was to take factory outlets out of their warehouse and cluster them in a strip shopping center, and it worked.
Did you target specific areas to open these in? Were they communities where people would travel for a vacation? Where did you look at as far as locations?
We have two types of locations. One is a tourist location like Hilton Head, Charleston, Myrtle Beach on the South Carolina coast. And others are what we call urban or pass-by locations, where we want to be 8 to 10 miles from a regional mall. We want high traffic because we are a regional destination. We don't compete with local merchants. We don't sell tires, we don't sell automobiles, we don't sell pharmaceuticals or groceries. So people come from 30 to 50 miles away.
I want to ask you about the economy. With the downturn, are people more likely to patronize or go to a Tanger Factory Outlets because they really want to get value for their dollar? Have you seen that?
I love to say in good times, people like a bargain, and in tough times like these, they need a bargain. So the outlet concept has been resilient to the economic downturn. We offer a unique product to the consumer. We offer the consumer the ability to buy direct from the manufacturer or from the designer brand name. You cut out the middleman. And by cutting out the middleman, you cut out the middleman's profit. So the consumer gets the best deal. And that's always what customers like.
They sure do. Now, people watching us or me, I could end up being a part owner of Tanger Factory Outlets in a sense because you are a publicly owned, help me with this, publicly owned real estate investment trust. Is that right? Did I say that right?
Yes, you did.
And for people that are not all that business savvy or don't know much about the stock market, you're on the New York Stock Exchange.
We're listed on the New York Stock Exchange with the ticker symbol SKT.
Right. And that, what does that stand for? Is it Stanley Tanger?
Stanley K. Tanger.
Okay. And you also pay a dividend, which is always nice. Rumor has it you may be raising that again.
Well,
you want to tell us first here at WHHI?
We have raised the dividend every year for the 18 years we've now been public, and we'll see what our board recommends and approves, but this is normally the time of the year where they make that decision.
Wonderful. Well, I want to thank you so much for coming on Lowcountry Report and WHHI, and we are very pleased that Tanger 1 is opened again.
Well, thank you for coming out.
Thank you, Steve Tanger.